What makes a house a home? Over 8 weeks, 21 homes bursting with style and character are competing to be crowned Home of the Year. Tonight, the judges will visit 3 very different homes, scoring each of them out of 10. The home with the highest score will go through to the final at the end of the series. Looking for functionality, individuality and clever design are design legend Hugh Wallace.
I'm looking for that perfect relationship between inside and outside that maximizes the use of both spaces.
Award-winning interior designer Susie McAdam.
When I walk into a home, I want to see that the homeowner hasn't been afraid to take risks and experiment with colours and texture.
And award-winning architect Amanda Bone.
White is important to me because it provides a neutral background, it can make a room feel more spacious, and it makes me feel calm.
But there can only be one winner. This is Home of the Year. Kevin Desmond bought his 19th century Dublin home in 2019 and undertook a sympathetic restoration with his partner Joe.
The house was in very bad condition when we bought it, but that appealed to me because I have a passion for restoration of old houses. We restored both the facade, the layout and the back of the house as it would have been when it was built almost 200 years ago. Internally, we preserved as much as we possibly could. We searched for appropriate furnishings for the house. Could be new, could be antique, could be second-hand. We felt it fitted the house and it fitted our style. We purchased them. So this is my favourite spot. It's in the garden. Gardening is my hobby, so I spend several hours a week working on it. So this space allows me to enjoy the work that I put in. You get gorgeous sunshine here to enjoy a glass of wine, read a book, read a newspaper. It's like an oasis in the city centre. We've lived here just over a year, but we absolutely adore the house and we are very happy to show it to people, as we are today with Home of the Year.
The judges must now assess the home armed with only the basic facts about the property and its owner.
These houses would have been very prim and proper and desirable when they were built in the middle of the 19th century.
I love the tones of the brick. It looks like they've done an incredible restoration, but by the shocking pink on the front door, I think there's maybe some boldness and bravery inside.
Shall we go in?
Love to. This hall is something else.
A great, elegant hallway. I love the natural light flooding in from the fan light. They seem to have a really strong collection of original artwork, and it's great how they've maintained the original floorboards here.
It's wonderful to come into this hall. All the original features are here. Lovely plasterwork detailing in the ceiling. So it's a great start for me.
For me, it's all just a little bit too much. There's just too many things. It's too cluttered. So many heavy chandeliers, bells, bits and bobs. I can't take a step back and admire the beauty of what this period property has to offer.
I disagree. Having these antique and Victorian pieces, I'm really getting a flavour of their style and the pieces that they're drawn to. I'm interested to see if they've continued this through the rest of the home. A great space.
So these were very important rooms, and this is where your guests would have come in to the drawing room.
It's an incredible fireplace and a real focal point of the room. They've created a nice detail with this overmantel mirror.
I think this is a beautiful room. They have a fantastic collection of artwork, and also there's a huge amount of items in this room, but unlike the hall, it doesn't feel claustrophobic. It works, and I think that's because of the amount of light that's coming in. The style of the furniture and fixtures that they've chosen, they wouldn't necessarily be what I would be interested in, but I do think they work within the room.
The main bedroom. I think this is a treat of a room. It would have originally been the dining room, but I think it's great that it's their bedroom.
I think they've created a very glamorous and tasteful bedroom. It's great how they've used the recesses to accommodate the wardrobes, and they have some really nice antique furniture, particularly this gorgeous bowed chest and the very delicate side chairs either side of the fireplace.
I actually feel like I'm in a hotel room in Paris. On paper, all the fabrics, the furniture, the bits and pieces would be the complete opposite of what I would find relaxing. In fact, I think I'd run out screaming. But for some reason, in reality, the whole thing works, and it's an absolutely beautiful bedroom. Oh, this looks gorgeous. And the owner's favourite spot. And you know, I can completely see why. I particularly love the tree ferns, and bamboos are a favourite of mine.
What a tranquil oasis right in the middle of the city. They're obviously a keen gardener. There's lots of really unusual specimens. What I love is that they've used those indigos, violets, pinks, colours that we saw in the front door and the entrance garden, and it's followed right through here.
What a joyous garden. This is great.
How quaint. I think it's very theatrical.
Yes.
Probably the most theatrical room in the house, probably because of that mirror. It reminds me of something you might see in an opera house on the continent.
Look at this shower. Even the detail on the floor is fabulous.
To have space in your home for a large bathroom is a real luxury, and this is a great size. It's completely over the top, but it does look like the homeowners had an awful lot of fun fitting it out.
I absolutely adore this kitchen. I mean, I think it's serious kitchen goals. The aga sitting in the original hearth. They've gone for a really strong raspberry red on the joinery, and I love the Belfast sink.
When I was upstairs, you just get a real sense of the owner's respect for this house. I would hate to have actually walked down here and seen anything but this. I just love the kitchen. I love the style of the kitchen. The units, I think they're so in keeping with this home. Hats off to them. I think they've done an extraordinary job.
This kitchen clearly reflects the homeowner's interests and what they like. Do I like it? To be honest, no. With houses like this, you either put the kitchen on the entrance level where you get the great light. The other option is to place the kitchen at the garden level where you have the lowered ceilings, the darker spaces, but you get that direct connection with the garden. This kitchen, it does neither.
I think for me, there is a good connection between the front garden in this location, but I appreciate about the darkness. It is quite a dark space.
The home will now be marked out of 10. One score will be held back until the judges have seen all 3 homes, when their combined scores will be revealed.
A home full of unique elements and a truly joyful place to be. The homeowners have showcased a refined eye for art and antiques. I particularly enjoyed the kitchen design with its bold raspberry units and traditional aga. I'm going to give this home an 8.
This home has it all. Designability, personality, creativity, and so much more. These homeowners have rolled up their sleeves and brought their passion to every nook and cranny of this sublime home. I'm delighted to give it a 10.
This is a great home. The living room and the main bedroom work really well. However, the hallway is too cluttered and the kitchen is in the wrong location. It's all just a bit too much for me.
Artists Isabel Heenahan and Ian Kenny spent 2 years building their family home in County Dublin, and they love it.
We're surrounded by nature here. We often feel like it's a haven in quite a built-up area.
It's a great house because it can transform into different things for different needs. We've got 2 big sliding doors on each side of the house, and during the summertime we can open these up and it opens up the whole house to make extra room because it's not a very big house.
During lockdown we did do a few projects here. I did a few murals in the kids' bedrooms, and then in our bathroom I did a terrazzo effect design on the wall.
You can have a lot of fun with your walls. They can become canvases.
Yeah. This is my favourite spot in the house. Every evening, this is where I read the kids a story. It's just a lovely way of winding down and catching up with them after a busy day. I hope the judges like it. The setting is unique and certainly we've put our own stamp on it, so I hope they enjoy their visit.
An idyllic courtyard garden. I love how they use the sail. It's maybe referencing the nautical location, and also the use of granite gives a real weightiness, I think, to the entrance.
It doesn't feel like it was recently built, particularly the way it's nestled into the site, but also the way it looks. It feels like it could be something from the 60s, the 70s, or even the 80s.
Yeah, I think it's lovely. It's tucked away. Such a simple building that's functional, sitting in the garden. Lovely room to walk into. It's a surprise because now I have windows on both sides, which I wasn't expecting.
It's clearly a very, very tight site, and they've wisely given over a large proportion of the area to the gardens so that it feels very open, and again, you feel very connected.
I think the homeowner has made some really clever choices with the proportion and the scale of the furniture. The dining room in particular, I mean, you could fit quite a large family here. I love as well how they've used some of the kind of coastal colours, almost those sand tones on the walls and the sea navy. So it has a very calm, tranquil, almost oceanic feel in here.
The house doesn't feel like I thought it would inside. It's quite dark. Perhaps if the head heights of those windows had been brought up to the ceiling, it may have felt a lot brighter in here.
It's really clever kitchen design. I like how they've created these really tall elements to accommodate all the different appliances. Probably my favourite bit is how they've used the island also as a huge canvas so that kids can sketch on. A really nice, playful detail and very personal for a kitchen design.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. There's just one thing that is I find the kitchen is quite dark, and given we have gardens on both sides, it's just a pity there couldn't have been more of a visual connection when you're working in the kitchen directly out to the garden.
I agree. I think that had the tall units been where you are, you could have then had a window out to the garden, and I think that would have improved the light here. I also think at the moment, so I'm cooking over here, I have to keep running around the island to get to the fridge. Whereas if the fridge was there, I have a much better triangle in terms of use in the kitchen.
Oh, it's a very dreamy, ethereal girls' room. I see they have individual artwork and also this lovely tree detail on the walls.
It's actually quite a tight space, but I don't think kids' rooms need to be that big. It all depends on how they're laid out. Despite the size of it, it actually feels to me very spacious.
Yummy, and their favourite spot, which I just love because there's a real sense of family here. It isn't a big home, but there is a creativity.
The kids' rooms are my favourite rooms in this house. I'd love to stay here. There's all sorts of things to play with, so it seems very personalised.
One detail I love is how they've hand knitted in this mustard yellow wool. It's given a really nice sense of colour and pop to this room, and it's a very personal touch, I think.
That's what makes the house different, is that personal layer. In this room, there's a lovely connection out to the garden and their play area and their teepee and the apples. I'd love to have seen the window drop down so there was a relationship between this room and outside. The main bedroom.
Very colourful.
The person here may well be a painter or an artist because I'm noticing lots of paintings.
I love the original artwork, and I think they are maybe using this as a base for the palette, which I think is always a really nice tool to use when you're choosing colour for a room. And a very interesting looking ensuite bathroom here as well.
Now this is clever. They managed to create two distinct zones, one for the kids, which is almost hidden away, and one for the adults.
I think it feels almost like an outdoor room that they've extended what is the living area to this space. It has quite a bohemian feel. I could be in maybe a festival or something with the festoon lighting and the hanging seat.
I just think this area is fabulous. A playroom, the teepee, and this is the kids' bedroom. And it would have been great had there been a physical connection between the bedroom and this area. But this space is extraordinary because I really could be in the middle of France. But in fact, you're in suburbia in Dublin. The homeowner's creativity and personality puts a smile on your face. However, for me, there were some issues. For example, the kitchen layout and the connection between the kids' bedroom and their outdoor play area. It's a 7 from me.
This home is cleverly laid out, making the most of its size and restricted site. The open plan area feels very spacious. However, I do think the walls to the courtyards should have been fully glazed. I'm going to give this home a 7.
Despite its compact size, the homeowners have created a space that allows the family to gather and play. I love the bohemian nature of the courtyards, how they felt like outdoor rooms, and also how they chose artwork as the basis for selecting bold and confident tones throughout.
Mark O'Neill lives in a contemporary 2-bedroom apartment in Dublin.
It's not your standard box size apartment. It's got like some different features to it, like some different angles in its walls. It's a lot of big windows. There's a lot of light coming into it at any time of the day. When I moved in, I repainted floors, the kitchen cabinets, bathroom tiles. I would have put a lot of blood, sweat and tears trying to bring it up to a nicer spec. And I'm quite a frantic person, so I kind of think that I need somewhere to come home to that is calm. There's no kind of very strong patterns, no very strong colors. It's all quite peaceful. It's quite calming place to be, I think. So this is my favorite spot, the balcony. It's a really nice place to be. I'm quite lucky. We have a lot of trees around us. There's also a river there. So it's a very nice place to just sit down and chill out. I hope that the judges will think that it's still quite a comfortable home. Maybe some of them won't think there's enough color in it, but I hope that they'll appreciate the overall aesthetic of the place.
It's white.
Very white, but a great contrast with the doors, which are painted a matte anthracite grey.
The homeowner has cleverly made use of what was potentially an awkward space into a very chic working from home area. Very minimalist and great artwork. It's a wonderful start.
Yeah, it's a small, narrow apartment entrance hall, but they've made the best of it by keeping all the finishes neutral, the floor, the ceilings and the walls. It makes it feel more spacious.
I have a feeling you're very happy, Amanda, surrounded in white.
I am. Okay, I like this. I feel right at home here. Neither of you are allowed to say a bad word.
It's a great space because we're up. All of a sudden, our views are out into the canopies of the trees, which is spectacular. And you don't feel you're in the city centre.
Even though it's a very contemporary space, it's not sparse. And I think that's because the homeowner has chosen many different textures and materials, from the rugs on the floor to the curtains and the soft woods. It's very inviting, actually.
I feel so good in this space. It's because of the natural light, and even though I'm up high, I feel very much connected with the outside.
I agree, there's something really uplifting about this home. What works very well for me is the fact that the kitchen almost feels like a supportive room. It doesn't take away from the striking pieces of what I think are vintage furniture.
I've noticed that the homeowner has removed all of the light fittings in the ceiling with the exception of the pendant over the table. And all of a sudden this room is lit by lamps, which must create a great mood.
The homeowner has carefully considered each piece of furniture, and I think it's very evident in this room. There was a lot of monochrome, but I think in this zone, the fact that we have the yellow, the green, and this oatmeal of the sofa, it creates a real sense of warmth. But I think the best piece of this room is the oversized mirror. It creates that reflection of the trees. You're connected both here and in the dining room to the landscape.
I love this beautiful room. It's almost perfect. It's bright, white, modern. It's got almost floor-to-ceiling height windows at both ends. Although it's an open plan space, from where I'm standing, the kitchen is hidden from view. I'd actually just like to stay here. I've seen enough.
It's a very modern, classic apartment. You just get a sense they've been hands-on, painted everything themselves, brought in delicious furniture. I just think this shows how you can take an apartment and create something very special, but also stamp your personality on it.
The only thing I think I'm unsure of is the personality. I can't tell if it's male, female, age. That's the only element that's lacking for me. I'm not getting a sense of the soul of who actually lives here.
Oh, Susie, you're wrong, I do. It's a sophisticated soul that lives here. It's my kindred spirit.
Look what I found. Isn't this such a treat? I mean, we're in this urban environment and yet there's the sound of the water, the view of the treetops. What a lucky homeowner to have this. I'm sure they spent so many evenings here.
What a smashing room. You know, waking up in the morning and having that view, isn't that spectacular? But what's even better is the colour outside always changes depending on the season. Thankfully, those colours are there because this room needs a little bit of colour.
I have to say, I am a little bit disappointed. This room to me feels a lot less considered and calm than the other rooms we've been into. I actually think this room could do with less colour. Personally, I would have preferred if they carried the white paint through on the walls, and they could have done without the decorative mirror and the door handles.
I'm going to shock you. White may well be the right colour, funny enough, for this room. If you look at the curtains again, beautiful linen, I love the colour, but for me it doesn't go with the wall colour. And that's why I'd like to have seen the white.
It must be like I'm in a Scandinavian spa in this bathroom. They've added these very minimalist storage units that are practical, but also add a nice detail to the bathroom. But the only mirror actually in the room has a big diagonal divide in it, which would actually annoy me. I don't know how you brush your teeth or fix your hair in the morning.
You can really get the sense that the homeowner has been hands-on here. They've painted the floor tiles and the wall tiles. They transformed this apartment into something very crisp, modern and contemporary.
This home is a great example of how to make the most of a small apartment. The homeowner has taken full advantage of the great big windows and views. When I walked in, I immediately felt good, and I'd love to live here. I'm giving this home a 9.
The homeowner has created a stylish and chic apartment packed full of their collection of contemporary furniture. The living and dining room demonstrates their awareness of subdued lighting and colour palettes. Although some of the rooms lack the same care and attention to detail, I'm giving this home an 8.
Modern furniture, good ambient lighting, and an eye for design detail have created a calm and contemporary home. For once in my life, I would like to have seen more white used in some of the rooms, as it would have added to the consistency of the design style.
Now that the judges have visited all 3 homes, it's time to see how they measure up against each other. First, Amanda reveals her score for the restored period home in Dublin.
When I walked into the hall, it was just so cluttered. There were so many things. However, as we moved through the house, the front living room felt very sophisticated. But it was the bedroom, really, that blew my mind. It is everything that I really don't like. It was just overfull, overstuffed, over everything. But it actually brought me back to living in Paris in my 20s. I gave this house an 8.
I think that's fair, Amanda.
2 8s and a 10, 26.
Next, Susie tells us her score for the courtyard home in Dublin.
Despite its very small size, I feel the homeowner was very creative and you really got a sense of their artistic feel. It just felt like a very happy family home. I also love the 2 terraces on both sides, so I gave it an 8.
2 7s and an 8, 22.
I think that's low. I think they created something special.
And finally, Hugh gives us his score for the modern apartment in Dublin.
This homeowner had done very minor works to the apartment, but it transformed it. It was all painted white, and if you like, you saw the form and the shape of the architecture. This was a really good, well-finished apartment. I give this home an 8.
Too low. I'm devastated.
2 8s and a 9 is 25. And we have our winner. What a terrific home to be going through to the final. I think this will be a difficult one to beat.
The period home in Dublin is through to the final. Next week, the search continues for Home of the Year.